Hey everybody, it's Steve here from Black Octopus Sound, and I'm going to show you a quick little trick on how to tidy up high-end ear-fatiguing resonance pieces in audio using, showcasing a demo track that I'm presently working on for an incredible sample pack that's dropping on Black Octopus Sound called DnB Smack. Here is the, I will mention it's an aptly named pack, DnB Smack, and here is a little bit of the track that I'm working on. Okay, so the piece that I'm going to be showcasing this technique with is with this bass line edit right here. So it's a cool little Neuro Bass trick, and I demonstrate how to do this trick in another tutorial video, which I will link in the description below. So I'm not going to get into that right now, but what I would like to bring attention to is the upper mid-range. If you listen, there's a filter sweep that's giving a little bit of a sass to this Neuro Bass. And that sass, that whip, that resonancy filter flick can be ear fatiguing for people, and especially if we're making a dance floor track that's designed to be played in a club or music festival, then at really high volumes that can just be ear piecing and actually cause people to emotionally disconnect from the music, which we don't want. We want our music to be engaging and digestible to the human ear and brain. And so I've used Ozone 7's Dynamics tool to kind of trim and tonally round and shape that piece of audio so it's a little bit more comfortable to listen to. So I'll listen to it without the shaping. And that's with it. The second time I played it's with it. So without. And here's with. So you might notice that sassy resonancy filter sweep, it has a little bit less sharpness on it. And so here's what I've done. I've been able to, like, from my years of doing audio engineering work, mix down and mastering, I know that there's a lot of ear fatiguing frequencies in the 2 kilohertz to 5 kilohertz area. And so what I've done is I've basically turned off the low band, lower mid-range, and the treble band, and I'm just working with this upper mid-range band, which I've exclusively isolated to the 1.67K and the 4.5K. Now that very thoroughly covers that ear fatiguing part of the spectrum. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm just pulling down the compressor. Like, you can take a look at my ratio. These are just basically essentially the factory settings. I've turned down the release time a little bit just so I'm not doing too much gain reduction. Remember, compression is synonymous with gain reduction. So I'm not doing too much gain reduction for too long when I don't need to. I want to kind of leave as light of a footprint as possible with this plugin while getting the job done. So I have a slow release time, so the gain reduction stops as fast as possible. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the signal and how the compressor is interacting with the signal. See, you can see by this digital number here that there's about -2 decibels of there's about 2 decibels of gain reduction happening in this part of the frequency spectrum at first, but that tapers off as soon as that filter sweep is over. You can kind of see that in action. And so what this is doing is it's sort of trimming it's catching the peak of the resonance sweep while not doing too much damage to the rest of the signal. And I say not too much damage to the rest of the signal, an expression that I've heard and is kind of a multiband compression mantra in the audio engineering world, is it can be called maul the band compression. It's really easy to suck the life out of a sound using MB compression, so we would just want to be careful and cautious. So err on the side of caution. Another way to do this is with EQ, but what I like about using multiband compression is that it's dynamic responsive. You know, if I have a -2 decibel EQ cut, then I'm committed to that. It's a static EQ cut and it doesn't change unless, of course, it can with a dynamic EQ or it can automate it. But if it's just an EQ cut standalone in your standard EQ, it's a static EQ cut of 2 decibels, meaning it doesn't move or change. However, the gain reduction with a compressor is dynamic responsive, and which means that the amount of gain reduction that's happening is completely dependent on the audio signal. And so you can see that illustrated in this digital readout. There's 2 decibels of gain reduction when the filter sweep is at its heaviest, and the gain reduction goes down significantly at the tail end of the Neuro Bass sound when there's not so much of a resonancy sweep. And so I'm going to take that off. And see, I'm going to dramatize it just so you can really hear what it's doing. Anyways, and then it's just a matter of finding the sweet spot. So anyways, yep, I just wanted to share that technique with you and also give you a heads up that the sick drum and bass pack is dropping on Black Octopus Sound.